Your maintenance calories as a petite woman with no muscle are the same as a toddler, about 1,100 to 1,200 calories a day. That's literally it. That is what your body burns just existing. I'm April. I am the founder of Petite Power. I have spent 8 years studying over 3,000 petite women, and I'm also a certified nutritionist and personal trainer. I was also an Olympic hopeful fencer who trained for up to 4 hours a day, and I still felt chubby in my uniform. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the 10 things that nobody warns you as a petite when you're trying to lose fat and build muscle as a short woman 5'4" and under. First, we'll go over why your metabolism is working against you, and then the biggest diet mistake that is sabotaging your results. And finally, the one thing you're doing that's actually keeping you skinny, fat, and stuck and making you softer instead of leaner. Even if you've tried everything and nothing has worked, this is different because we're not following advice that was made for women 5'7", generic advice. We're gonna do what actually works for bodies under 5'4". If you're 5'4" and under and you're short like me, I'm 5'1", hit the subscribe button and let's get into it. Now, I am guessing you've downloaded the meal plan, you have hit the generic calorie target before, you've done the workouts that you found on Pinterest, you're doing all the things, right? But nothing is changing. And meanwhile, your taller friends, they're literally eating bowls of pasta and dropping weight, and you're over here kind of eating like a bird, wondering what you're doing wrong and what's wrong with your body. The truth that no one has told you is that there is absolutely nothing wrong with your body as a petite, but everything wrong about the advice that you've been given your whole life about how to get in shape as a petite. Every online calculator that you've used, every fitness influencer, probably every kind of one-size-fits-all program, they are designed for women who are 5'5" and taller, not for you and I. The cost of this has been great for me personally, almost 2 decades of time. I used to be training 4 hours a day as an elite athlete, and fencing at an Olympic level, I was doing cardio until I literally couldn't feel my legs. And I was still soft, I was still feeling chubby, and I thought I needed to work harder and eat less and push harder and do more. But I was absolutely wrong about everything, because here's where it gets really crazy. Many years later, after I retired, I interviewed a doctor who told me about the toddler calorie theory. And in that moment, I knew why I had been stuck for so many years as petite. He said, April, the average height woman that I see in my practice every day has a metabolic rate of literally 1,200 calories per day. Petite women, 5'4" and under, that's even lower. And then he said something that absolutely made my jaw drop in the moment. He said, it's hard to create a diet that's lower than 900 to 1,200 calories, right? But that's what petite women face for weight loss. And he said, do you know how many calories a toddler needs per day, April? About 1,200. That literally hit me like a stomach punch, like a gut punch, because I had been living on toddler calories for most of my life, thinking that restriction was discipline, when the real problem was my body had nothing left to burn eating that few calories in a day. So everything changed in that conversation when he explained something that most petite women, most people in general don't understand, which is that you're not supposed to live on toddler calories like ever. There are 3 pillars to weight loss management. There's diet, there's exercise, and there's sleep. If you do all 3 correctly as a petite, you lose weight. If you do 2 out of 3, you maintain. And if you do 1 or none, you start gaining weight, right? But most petites are doing diet wrong. They're restricting to toddler level calories instead of building muscle. They're also doing exercise wrong. They're doing tons of cardio instead of strength training. Stuck in a toddler's metabolism, essentially, wondering why nothing works. We're not talking about a small difference either when it comes to tall versus short women's metabolisms. We're talking about a pretty different metabolic reality, because how you lose weight is going to look differently. But here's where it gets even crazier. And this is what the fitness industry, I think, doesn't really know yet, or they just haven't worked with our population as much. It's that every single pound of muscle that you add increases your resting metabolism by several calories per day. And while this seems negligible or really small for maybe the average person, for a petite woman, this is the difference between being stuck or really losing the weight. And it might not sound like much, but when your maintenance is already toddler level, these calories really compound fast. So after studying thousands of petite women and tracking their body composition and their biofeedback for years, I realized that we really have 2 choices. One, we can accept eating like a child forever, or two, we can build muscle so that we can eat more and be lean at the same time. This system is actually really simple, and I've been teaching it for years, and it's just that it's kind of the opposite of what everyone else is teaching. So I want to show you how to stop restricting your way to trying to be thin, and you start building your way to being more metabolic. Now also pay attention to this next part, because what I'm about to show you is going to contradict a lot of what you've been told before about how to lose weight. I want to go through what they don't warn us petites about when we go to lose weight, and I have 10 things specifically that I want to talk about. The number one thing is that nobody warns us petites that you literally cannot restrict your way to a better metabolism and more muscle. You need to eat food. I see petite women eating 1,200 calories, trying to lose the fat first and then build muscle later. And that's actually backwards. Your body needs energy to build muscle tissue and lean body mass, period. And this is exactly why at Petite Power, our team of registered dietitians and trainers are usually going to start our client protocols using a metabolic priming phase, which is designed to get you out of that starvation and into consistency first. Here's the specific implementation if you're doing this on your own. You need to be eating at or slightly above your maintenance calories while also lifting weights consistently for a period of 3 or more months before you can really safely enter a calorie deficit as a petite woman. One of my clients who's 5'2", she was eating about 1,300 calories when she came to work with me, and she was absolutely spinning her wheels. We ended up slowly increasing her calories to 1,800 a day. We added in just 3 full body workouts per week. And while she didn't lose weight on the scale yet, she dropped 2 dress sizes in those first 4 months. And remember this for later, the scale is gonna lie to you, and that's actually a good thing, because after her body recomposition, now she's eating 1,800 calories a day. We're able to enter a healthy and earned deficit from that correct starting point. So she only had to drop about 150 calories down to 1,650 per day to lose 8 pounds in 10 weeks. And because we did this correctly, she was never hungry, and she didn't have to do tons of cardio to get those results. And she didn't have to go on a starvation diet. So this is actually the correct process for weight loss for petites. And while it can take more like 6 months instead of 6 weeks, it sets you up for the long-term metabolic health for life and a smaller waistline as well. Number 2 thing that they don't warn petite women about weight loss is that not all protein is equal for petites. When you go to clean up your diet or eat more protein, you should, by the way, aim for about 100 to 135 grams of protein daily, but fattier proteins are gonna eat your fat budget faster, if that makes sense. So salmon and ribeye, dark meat chicken, dark meat turkey, even Greek yogurt with full fat content, it's not that they're bad foods, but they just leave you almost with no room for fats and subsequently also carbs. And petites need carbs to fuel your workouts and build muscle. So the solution will be, instead of just increasing your protein with no discretion, choose leaner cuts most of the time. Chicken breast, whitefish, 9-10 ground turkey, egg whites, protein powder, non-fat Greek yogurt, etc. And here's a real example from things that I will eat. I will eat 6 ounces of chicken breast, which is 54 grams of protein and only 3 grams of fat. That's 280 calories. But 6 ounces of salmon is 34 grams of protein and 23 grams of fat. That's 367 calories and less protein. When you only have 1,600 to 1,800 calories to work with, say, those differences do matter. Your fats should be moderate as a petite, about 45 to 90 grams, depending on the individual, which will leave room for carbohydrates to actually fuel your training. The third thing is that your deficit needs to be smaller. Okay, they don't tell you this as a petite, like it needs to be way smaller. The calculators online tell you to eat 500 calories below your maintenance. That might work for someone who's burning 2,000 calories in a day, but for you burning 1,200, that's 700 calories total, which is equivalent to probably like 1 solid meal per day, which for the record, I don't recommend doing. That's not a diet, that's starvation. And it crashes your metabolism. We will come back to why this matters, but I want you to know that aggressive cuts can drop your metabolic rate 15 to 20%. Then you end up burning less, not more. The petite specific approach will be after your metabolic priming phase, that 150 to 200 calorie deficit is max. You don't need more than that. You wanna go slow and steady so that you can preserve your muscle, lose body fat, and keep your metabolism intact. This is the game changer, okay? Because it means you're never starving, you're never miserable, and you can actually create results that you can stick to in the long run, because petite women are more likely to gain it back as well. The fourth thing they never warn you about is that cardio is keeping you stuck skinny fat. I personally lived this for most of my life. I did hours of running per day. I did cardio until I was exhausted and I just was super soft. I found out that too much cardio burns muscle. It spikes both your hunger and your cortisol, and it just works against everything you're trying to do with your metabolism. So stick to lifting weights. The fifth thing they don't warn us about is that the scale is lying to you. My client that I mentioned earlier, she had the scale stay the same, but she dropped 2 dress sizes. Muscle weighs more than body fat, but it takes up less space. So you can look completely transformed and weigh the same or more than where you started. The sixth thing is that NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is your secret weapon. This is walking. And if you can aim to walk 7,000 steps a day minimum, it's gonna really beat the intense HIIT workouts for petite women because it won't spike your hunger or your cortisol and stress levels. The seventh thing no one warns us is that one restrictive diet can set you back months. An aggressive cut that you tried last year, it can absolutely crash your metabolism. Now we have to rebuild it before we can even think about a fat loss phase again because we probably lost some muscle during that crash diet. The eighth thing they don't warn you about is that, and this is actually what's possible now, you might not even need a calorie deficit, okay? A body recomposition still works at maintenance calories, and you can lose fat and build muscle simultaneously when you're eating enough protein and lifting heavy. The ninth thing is that full body workouts are super optimized for the petite body type. They have a higher metabolic effect than body splits. So I think you get more bang for your buck, and that's what we've seen with our clients. Just 3 times a week is fine. Hit every major muscle group and use progressive overload. And the 10th thing that nobody warns you about as petite is that generic plans really just don't work for us. They don't account for your unique calorie budget or how your frame shows muscle and fat differently. What works for a 5'8" woman will leave you spinning your wheels for years, like I was. And I don't want you to do that. Before, I was literally eating 1,200 calories. I was doing tons of cardio. I was feeling exhausted. I was looking soft and not confident in photos. And after, I was eating closer to 2,000 calories. I was lifting a few times a week. I was walking daily and not over-exercising, and it completely transformed my body composition. So what's possible is that I want you to see that you can actually eat more, you can work out less, and you can finally have that lean, strong physique that you've been hoping to have. And here's the one thing that I think really reframes everything for us. It's that you don't have a willpower problem, okay? You don't have a discipline problem. You have an information and implementation problem. Every piece of advice that you have been following was literally designed for someone with 400, 500, 600 more calories to work with every single day. So it's not that you're failing some system, it's that the system was just really never built for you. And the moment you understand that your body operates different and by different rules as a petite, that you need more food, not less, that you need to build instead of restrict, that your metabolism is not messed up, okay? It's just slower, naturally, everything is gonna change for you. The moment you stop accepting toddler calories as a normal thing, everything is gonna change for you. Here's the question I asked myself back in, I think it was like 2014, that I'm gonna ask you now. Are you going to keep eating and being okay with eating like a toddler essentially, or are you finally ready to build a body that lets you live like a petite woman? So you'll remember at the beginning when I said the whole point of this was that your maintenance calories are toddler level without muscle as petite. That's maybe where you're starting, or maybe you have a little bit of muscle, but that's not where you're gonna stay, okay? Because you're with me, so we're not staying here. One specific action you can take today is just calculate your actual protein target, your body weight in pounds times 0.8 to 1 to keep it simple. That's your minimum amount of protein, okay? Hit that number for the next 7 days and watch what happens and how satiated you feel. And if you're over 135 pounds as a petite, cap your protein intake around 135 to leave room for other carbohydrates and fats. If you want the full petite specific system, the exact meal plans, the workout programming, the metabolic calculations, I teach all this inside Petite Power Premium alongside my team of petite registered dietitians and coaches. And we have helped over 3,000 petite women transform their bodies by eating more food and working out smarter with the world's first science-backed weight loss system that is made just for petite women, and it works. If you've been trying to shrink yourself to be small enough to feel happier, it's time to change that mentality and build yourself to be powerful and strong and free. Comment below, let me know which one is hitting home for you the most. I'm curious to hear. And if you want to learn more about how we might be able to help you and support you, maybe I can provide some value, you can check out the description below for a way to talk to our team. And by the way, that doctor that I mentioned who opened my eyes to the toddler calorie theory, he actually joined my mission to help 1 million petites and our board of advisors here at Petite Power. So I thought that was a nice ending to the story. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.